Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Yahya Luqman. I am the National Murabbi Atfal for Majlis Atfal al-Ahmadiyya USA. Today, I would like to welcome all of you to our Atfal Parents' Day presentation. We will begin with the agenda. The agenda for today's program is as follows. We will begin with the recitation of the Holy Quran, then an Urdu poem. Then we will have the welcome and introduction by our respected Muhtamim Majlis Atfal al-Ahmadiyya, followed by the Alme Inami presentation. After that, we will have some Atfal recognition for Tarbiyyat competitions by the Tarbiyyat department, which will be followed by some discussion with some of our parents about their experiences in Atfal al-Ahmadiyya programs. And lastly, we will have a presentation by our Naib Sadr Majlis Khudam al-Ahmadiyya entitled Working Together with Parents. And we hope to do this all within 1 hour, inshallah ta'ala. So let me begin the program by requesting Ayan Bhatt Sahib of Fort Worth Majlis to recite the Holy Quran and give its English translation.
A'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim ghairil maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. English translation. In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful. All praise belongs to Allah, Lord of all the worlds, the Gracious, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. Thee alone do we worship, and Thee alone do we implore for help. Guide us in the right path, the path of those on whom Thou hast bestowed Thy blessings, those who have not incurred Thy displeasure, and those who have not gone astray.
Assalamu alaikum.
Next, we will have a poem of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Sani Razila Talanho and its English translation by Ayan Tahir of Detroit Majlis.
Assalamu alaikum. बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। हज़रत मुस्लिम मौद रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हो के मंजूम कलाम से चंद अशार पेश खिदमत हैं। نونہالان جماعت مجھے کچھ کہنا ہے، پر ہے یہ شرط کہ ضائع میرا پیغام نہ ہو۔ چاہتا ہوں کہ کروں چند نصائح تم کو، چاہتا ہوں کہ کروں چند نصائح تم کو، تاکہ پھر بعد میں مجھ پر کوئی الزام نہ ہو، تاکہ پھر بعد میں مجھ پر کوئی الزام نہ ہو۔ جب گزر جائیں گے ہم تم پہ پڑے گا سب بار، جب گزر جائیں گے ہم تم پہ پڑے گا سب بار، سستیاں ترک کرو طالب آرام نہ ہو، سستیاں ترک کرو طالب آرام نہ ہو۔ خدمت دین کو ایک فضل الہی جانو، خدمت دین کو ایک فضل الہی جانو، اس کے بدلے میں کبھی طالب انعام نہ ہو، اس کے بدلے میں کبھی طالب انعام نہ ہو۔ میری تو حق میں تمہارے یہ دعا ہے پیارو، میری تو حق میں تمہارے یہ دعا ہے پیارو، سر پہ اللہ کا سایہ رہے ناکام نہ ہو، سر پہ اللہ کا سایہ رہے ناکام نہ ہو۔ نونہالان جماعت مجھے کچھ کہنا ہے، پر ہے یہ شرط کہ ضائع میرا پیغام نہ ہو۔ Translation: O youth of the Jamaat, I have something to say, on the condition that my message should not fall on deaf ears. It is my desire to give you some advice, so I'm not held responsible later on. When we shall pass, you will be in charge. Shun laziness, and be not a seeker of ease. Consider service of religion a blessing of Allah. In return, never expect any rewards. My prayer for you, O dear one, is, may Allah's protection and success be with you forever. Jazakallah.
Jazakumullah ahsan jaza. Now I turn the program over to Muhtaram Majlis Atfal al-Ahmadiyya, Raza Ahmed Sahib, for the welcome and the introduction. Jazakum.
Jazakumullah. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to welcome our dear Atfal and their parents to our first Atfal Parents Day, the Yawm-e Walidain program. Inshallah, this will be a quarterly program in which we wish to convey the progress of the Majlis to our parents, as well as keep them updated about our ongoing and future programs. We will also recognize the outstanding achievements of our Atfal and offer resources and our support to help the parents for doing Tarbiyyat of their Atfal. We will look forward to the help and cooperation of the parents, and we welcome their suggestions for the improvement and betterment of the Majlis. And just a brief introduction of the Majlis before we dive into the details of today's program. Majlis Atfal Ahmadiyya operates under the Sadr Majlis Khudam al-Ahmadiyya. It has its own Majlis Amla comprising 13 offices. As you can see on the screen, the list of all the departments. We have our National Amla currently of about 30 members, including Naibeen and Muawin Muhtamimeen. You have been introduced to our National Murabbi Sahib Atfal, Maulana Yahya Luqman Sahib. All of our Amla members are Khudam, except Murabbi Atfal, who is preferably a member of Majlis Ansarullah. The Murabbi Atfal is responsible for the Tarbiyyat of our Atfal and engagement with the parents. On a Majlis level, Qaid Majlis is the ultimate in charge of Atfal. Nazim Atfal and Murabbi Atfal work under him and carry out the various Atfal responsibilities on a day-to-day basis. Nazim Atfal organizes the program and manages all their logistics. And a Nazim Atfal has its own Amla as well, of all the 12 departments that we just saw. And the Amla of Nazim Atfal consists of Atfal only. Currently, we have 1,248 Atfal spread out over 60 majalis in 12 regions. As young children join the Majlis at age 7 and become a Khadim at age 15, we need our parents' cooperation in keeping the Tajneed up to date. Our current secretary Tajneed is Dr. Muhyiddin Ovi of Fitchburg, who is responsible to keep the Tajneed of our Majlis current and up to date. Our Atfal also participate in the financial sacrifice. One department that has really shown a great deal of progress with the help and active participation of parents recently is our finance department. Last year, the Majlis, alhamdulillah, achieved 91% participation in Atfal Chanda, alhamdulillah. This year, we have a new secretary from the Muqami Jamaat Wasif Malik Sahib, and the goal is to achieve 100% of participation with your help. Atfal Chanda is not based on income because they don't have one. Atfal Chanda is $20 flat rate per tifl for the whole year, and you can go to atfalusa.org/chanda to pay it. The purpose of Atfal Chanda is to instill the spirit of financial sacrifice in them from a very young age. Throughout the country, we hold Atfal classes at least twice a month, primarily as part of the local Tahir Academy. The Talim Teen department headed by Zaryab Farooq Saab of Bay Point creates content to be taught in these classes and also conducts the various Talim competitions. Other than this, we also have our online classes going on, led by Mubashir Tahir Saab of Dayton, who is the additional Secretary Talim. We have been conducting these online classes for almost a whole year now, alhamdulillah, We started as soon as the pandemic started, and they have been going on ever since over Zoom. And they are taught by our respected missionaries every Monday through Thursday, 7 to 7:40 p.m. Eastern Time. We encourage parents to have their kids join these short classes daily to increase their religious knowledge on a daily and consistent basis. As you can see, the details are on the screen. The Tarbiyyat department of Majlis Atfal Ahmadiyya, they prepare the Tarbiyyat content for Atfal classes and conduct the different Tarbiyyat competitions, like the weekly Friday sermon quiz. Faizan Mughni Saab, Murabbi Silsila of Austin, is our secretary Tarbiyyat. We recently concluded our 10 by 10 challenge, which was for the New Year's, and the Ramadan challenge is coming up shortly as soon as we start the month of Ramadan. Our Shab department is led by Fahim Pal Sahib of Central Virginia. The department publishes 4 issues of Al-Bashir magazine, and it is mailed to every Ahmadi household in the country. We just published our issue, the latest issue on race relations, and our website, you can browse through our website for the previous issues of Al-Bashir magazine. Now today we also want to announce the results of the competition for Alame Inami. Now Alame Inami literally means the prized flag. It is an award given to the best majlis based on their performance in the whole year. The Alame Inami consists of the Khuddam flag and has been given out in Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya and Atfal al-Ahmadiyya to the best performing majalis. The Alame Inami award was started by Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu in 1939, who himself decided to give the first Alame Inami to the best majlis, that was Majlis Kerang in Odisha, India. On that occasion, Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu remarked that I advise this Jamaat to fulfill the responsibilities of this flag. So now I would announce the results of the Alame Inami competition for the previous year, the year 2019-20. The competition is categorized into 3 categories: small, medium, and large majalis. Small majalis are those majalis which have up till 10 atfal. Then between 10 and 25 atfal, we have medium majalis. And then greater than 25, we have large majalis. The Alame Inami is given to the best performing large majlis. So the third position in small majalis category for the previous year, 2019-2020, goes to the Bronx Majlis. Barakallahu lahum. The second place in small majalis goes to Binghamton Majlis. The first place goes to Oshkosh Majlis. Hashim Mumtaz Saab is the Qaid Majlis, and Umair Ahmed Saab serves as Nazim Atfal for the Majlis. Barakallahu lakum. In medium majalis, we have Majlis Fort Worth, which is third in the ranks in medium majalis. Fort Worth Qaid was Mustafa Ahmed Sahib, and currently Khalid Antwi Sahib is serving as their Nazim Atfal. After that, second position is for Baltimore Majlis, and first position among medium majalis is the Majlis Columbus. Hassan Sayyid Sahib is still serving as their Nazim Atfal, and Kamil Salam Sahib is their Qaid Majlis. Barakallahu lahum. And finally, on to the large majalis category. We have in the third place, we have Queen's Majlis. Imranul Hakim Sahib is their Qaid Majlis. Hanan Bajwa Sahib is serving as their Nazim Atfal. In second place, we have Majlis Atlanta with Ataul Azim Sahib, who served as Qaid Majlis last year, and Takrim Tahir Sahib is serving as Nazim Atfal. And the Alame Inami goes to Majlis Los Angeles. Faik Malik Sahib is serving as their Qaid Majlis. Noor Muhammad Sahib is serving as their Nazim Atfal. Barakallahu lahum. May Allah bless their efforts and enable them to increase in their activities and their progress this year and the years to come. Los Angeles is a big majlis. They have about 70 atfal. They're one of the top performing majalis. They have been one of the top performing majalis consistently for the past few years. Jazakallah. Inshallah, these majalis would receive certificates signed by Hazur Anwar Yadullah Ta'ala bin Nasir Aziz very soon. Jazakallah.
Jazakumullah khairan. Next, I would like to request Maulana Faizan Mughni Sahib, who is the Secretary Tarbiyyat, to recognize Atfal for their outstanding achievements in Tarbiyyat competitions.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Majlis Atfalul Ahmadiyya began the new year 2021 with prayers and a virtual get-together to launch the 10 by 10 challenge, which featured 10 tasks to do in the first 10 days of January. Alhamdulillah, we had 157 total Atfal participate in the challenge, and 114 Atfal completed 8 or more tasks and were declared winners. Barakallahu lakum. Next slide, please. So we have Atlanta Jamaat, and so they have the most participation, as you can see. And the next program we have, so since August of 2020, we have been conducting weekly quizzes of Atfal on the Friday sermons of our beloved Imam Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Khamis, Ayyadullah Ta'ala Misal Aziz. This previous quarter, from beginning of November to end of January, 621 Atfal participated in at least one quiz from 54 majalis. During the 13 weeks, total 3,013 total valid quizzes were submitted, averaging 231 per week, and with 280 the most in a week. The week quiz begins the new quarter. This week's quiz begins the new quarter of competition. So I encourage all Atfal parents to watch Hazur's Friday sermon with their kids and have them participate in the weekly quiz at www.atfalusa.org/Friday sermon quiz. So the Me'ar Saghir winners per region are as follows for the last quarter. So the first prize for East region goes to Ismail Chaudhry of Lehigh Valley. Second place goes to Hassan Ahmed Khan, North Jersey, Ibrahim Hamid Qureshi Saab of Harrisburg, and the third place goes to Ali Ahmed Khan of North Jersey. Mr. Mutahir Ahmed Walla Saab of Great Lake region stood first in his region. Mirza Fan Ahmed of Pittsburgh came second. Khalid Ahmed Mubarak of Cleveland came third. Salman Ahmed Momin stood first in Gulf region. Ayan Butt came second. Shayan Nuruddin of Dallas came third. Rafiel Bhatti of Muqami Majlis stood first in Maryland region. Roshan Rashid of Baltimore came second, and Mustafa Ahmed of Muqami came third. Fateh Munib Sahi Sahib of Midwest region came first in his region. Rawahuddin Ahmed Saab of Milwaukee came second, and Qasid Mia of Indiana came third. In Missouri River region, Yusuf Ziauddin Ahmed of St. Louis and Ibrahim Rashid Ahmed of St. Louis came first. For New York Metro region, Fozan Ahmed of Long Island came first. Zuhair Ahmed of Long Island came second, and Zishan Ahmed of Brooklyn came third. Ataul Wasi Ahmed of Connecticut stood first in his region, Northeast region. Basil Ahmed of Connecticut came second. Third place goes to Murtajiz Ahmed of Connecticut. Ayan Javed Khan of Bay Point stood first in Northwest region. Tazib Sultan Butt of Portland came second. Haris Shah of Bay Point came second, and Arkan Zafar of Portland came third. Saim Rashid and Zuhaib Ahmed stood first in Southeast region. They are both from Atlanta Majlis. Amin Diasi of Atlanta, Taha Ahmed of Atlanta came second. Maaz Rashid Khan came third. Arham Muhammad Farooq of Los Angeles came first in Southwest region. Dean Ahmed of Los Angeles came second. Mustafa Ali Ahmed of Los Angeles came third. From Virginia region, Shayan Kashif Khan of Central Virginia stood first in his region. Hazim Ahmad of South Virginia, Qasid Ahmad Jardan of North Virginia, Sarmad Ahmad of South Virginia came second, and Aliyan Kashif Khan of Central Virginia and Farhan Sami Jardan of North Virginia came third. Now the Friday sermon quiz of Miari Kabir, they are as follows. Al-Hakan Chima Sahib of North Jersey came first in East Region. Faris Mahmood of Central Jersey came second. Kamran Asghar of Willingboro came third. Ayan Tahir of Detroit stood first in his region of Great Lakes. Dadan Chima Sahib of New Orleans came first in Gulf region. Zahid Chima of New Orleans came second. Uzair Jamil of Austin came third. Ikan Ahmad Malik of Muqami Majlis came first in Maryland region. Shayan Aslam of Muqami Jamaat came second. Afan Abdullah Yunus of Baltimore Baltimore Majlis came third. Fahad Ahmad Mia of Oshkosh stood first in Midwest region. Sharik Ahmad of Milwaukee came second. Noman Ahmad Farid of Minnesota came third. Abdul Muqeet Ahmad of Queens came first in New York Metro region. Furqan Mahmood of Brooklyn came second. Mabroor Ahmad of Queens came third. Athar Rana of Boston and Harun Ashraf of Pittsburgh stood first in Northeast region. Daniel Ahmad of Boston came second. Isa Zafar of Connecticut came third. Safir Shah of Bay Point stood first in his region of Northwest. Arman Mirza of Bay Point came second. Salman Shahid of Seattle came third. Tashfeen Shafi of Atlanta stood first in Southeast region. Zaki Majoka of Orlando came second. Muhammad Ahmad Sayyed of Miami came third. Fozan Azim Noor of Los Angeles stood first in his region, Southwest. Basel Ahmad of Los Angeles came second. Shazal Muhammad Farooq of Los Angeles came third. Ali Chaudhry of Virginia stood first in his region of Virginia region. Musa Mirza of Central Virginia came second, and Abdullah Khan of Central Virginia came third. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah Ahsan al-Jazab. Again, congratulations to all the Atfal who participated in these competitions as well as other competitions. And we encourage the parents to have their children participate in the upcoming competitions as well. And the Friday sermon competition is ongoing, and still there are quizzes being submitted until Thursday. Next, we have requested some parents whose children are actively taking part in Atfal activities to join us and tell us about their experiences very briefly and the experiences of their Atfal, especially in these trying times that we are in lockdown and living isolated and away from Majlis and Jamaat activities. So first I would like to request Zahid Mia Sahib and his wife, who are the parents of Qasid Mia of Indiana Majlis. Zahid Mia Sahib.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Qasid Mia's mother. So we moved to Indiana from Los Angeles. We were part of LA West Jamaat, and Qasid was very active there in the Tahir Academy, as well as all the Atfal activities that were going on there. So moving to a small Jamaat like Indiana, where there's only 2 tifl, it's a very isolating experience. And on top of it, to be in COVID, where we were not interacting with other families, all of the Atfal activities have been very beneficial for Qasid. And we really appreciate all the volunteers and all the Rabbiyan who are teaching the class, as well as the people who put together the Friday quiz. He's very eager to get to it and try to answer as many questions as he can. The class that Rabbiyan teach, that's a good place for Qasid not just to learn from what the topics that are being taught, but also a sense of connectivity to the other Tifl that call into that. He's always excited to see names of other boys that he knows in other Jamaats. So certainly for our family, we can say that not just Qasib, but all of us have benefited a lot from all the activities that Atfal al-Ahmadiyya have put together. We would have been in a really isolated position because of COVID and also being part of a small Jamaat, and having moved from a large one, it would have been very difficult. So as they say, it takes a village to raise a child, and we're very grateful that that village, alhamdulillah, is Jamaat al-Ahmadiyya, and particularly Atfal al-Ahmadiyya. So on behalf of our family, we would like to thank all the volunteers and all the Murabbiyan who are putting the program together and creating all these activities. So Jazakallah, and my husband will say a word too.
I think my wife said it all, but the only thing I want to add is that when Qasid is when he's part of these sessions or webinars, he enjoys history a lot. So after the calls, it enables us to actually have a discussion about history itself and what was discussed during the meeting. So that also helps.
Does that answer your question?
Jazakumullah asl jaza. Next, we would like to request Jawad Malik Sahib from Muqami Majlis, Muqami Jamaat.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, so we have the opposite issue. we're in a very large Jamaat, the Muqami Jamaat, and our house is 1 mile exactly from Masjid Batur Rahman. But during this time of pandemic, we feel equally distant, you know, because none of us can go to the masjid, and especially for the children. I remember the other day, I had to go to the masjid to pick up some items, and my son was with me, and he was emotional just stepping into the masjid. So you can see the impact that being away from, you know, a place that holds so much importance can have on a child. But I think it really goes back to all the good experiences that Majlis Atfal al-Ahmadiyya has provided for my son. When he was younger, a very young tifl, he was extremely reluctant to go to the masjid. And but over time, with prayers and encouragement from the young Rabbi who was here at that time, he completely overcame that. And alhamdulillah, he discovered new friendships at the masjid, and now honestly that's where all his friendships are during this pandemic time. It's the people he's gotten to know at the masjid. And then you know, of course, the programs, the daily programs, especially during the summer, were useful because the kids had nothing else to do. So I guess that would be my main thing that I would say, is that just, you know, develop a relationship with your child from the beginning. But if you didn't have the kind of relationship you wanted before, it's never too late to start. The important thing is just keep trying to participate. That means you as a parent and your son as a tifl, because when they see your participation, then they get it. You know, they feel that attraction to the masjid also. So yeah, this has really been a blessing during this time to have this connection.
Jazakumullah, Jawad Sahib. Next, I will turn to Junaid Latif Sahib, who is all the way in Zion Majlis.
Jazakallah, Jazakallah everyone for putting this together and for sacrificing so much over the last year to make sure that our children are grounded in Ahmadiyyat and growing spiritually during this tough time. I think everything has really been said as far as the value that is offered through this Atfal class. During COVID time, as it's been said, everyone is locked down, so you're always looking for positive things to get to be able to engage your children with. So when this popped up so quickly after COVID hit, it was perfect. The children are kind of isolated in the real world, but by the blessings of Ahmadiyyat, they have this whole world of relationships to grow with. So I think that's the biggest value of what's been happening here, is that while everyone else is isolated and contracting, their social circles are contracting, our children have the opportunity to engage with the missionaries that are going to be guiding them for the rest of their lives, and for seeing, their friends, engaging in Islam. And, so just this reinforcement of their Islamic identity has been huge, during this past year. So, so I really value that, especially someone who's grown up here in the U.S. and, just know the influences that's out there, to have this last year of positive reinforcement and encouragement and Jamaat knowledge, instilled in the kids has really been nice. And it's actually been a family experience. So when Atfal classes happen, the whole family, gets involved. So it's an opportunity for all of us to be involved. My daughter, who's Nasrat, and my wife, who's Lejna, and it's really been instrumental in making sure the kids have stayed involved in this. It's all of our involvement. And just like Brother Jawad was saying, by us showing our excitement about it, the kids, they feel that, and, they're more engaged as well. So, so yeah, I can't say enough about what's been offered by the Jamaat over this last year. So, my extreme gratitude from, all of us here at the Latif household for everything that you guys have done. Jazakallah, Imam Saab.
Jazakumullah Ahsan Hazrat. I should, as we're right on time with regards to our timekeeping, I want to add a point that the online classes were something that was discussed in our Mulaqat with Hazur a year ago, or over a year ago, when the Amla, or some members of the Amla of Majlis Atfal al-Ahmadiyya, had the opportunity to have a Mulaqat with Hazur. And so he especially emphasized that those families that are living at distance from the Jamaat centers, they can really benefit. And as we know, then this lockdown situation started. So the feedback that we have received is that indeed these classes and these other activities and competitions have truly been a family experience, as you mentioned. And that is the way that we wish that all of these activities for our children continue with the involvement of the parents. So I would like to thank these parents for agreeing to share their experiences with us, and hopefully we can all benefit and find encouragement in their experiences for our own children as well. So Jazakumullah Ahsan al-Jazaa. Next, I think we go back to Muhtaram Sahib.
Jazakumullah. I would like to request Muhtaram Intisar Ahmed Mali Sahib, Naib Sadr Majlis Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya USA, who is our keynote speaker today, to please share a few words with us. Intisar Ahmed Mali Sahib has previously served as Muhtaram Atfal for several years, and we are grateful to have him in presence today.
Assalamu alaikum. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Amma ba'du, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I wanted to begin with first congratulating all the Atfal who won prizes in different Tarbiyyat challenges and quizzes. It's always great joy to see Atfal excelling and participating in these competitions. And with that, I'll also congratulate all the majalis that have worked so hard, all the Atfal and their Nazimeen and Qaideen, and have taken position in the Al-Main Army rankings as well. There are some consistent majalis in there with likes of Oshkosh and Atlanta and Baltimore that show up on this list. And then there are some new names as well. Particularly excited to see Los Angeles winning the Al-Main Army this year. It's been a remarkable turnaround journey for you all for the last 2 to 3 years that you've been on, and culminating in this Al-Main Army win. May Allah enable all of you to continue to excel and serve our Atfal and help them grow and excel, inshallah. I also wanted to add, I mean, we've been talking about the impact of COVID and how we are sort of left at our homes and trying to connect online through these classes. That has, while it has presented a lot of challenges for us, but it's also presented opportunities. As one of these classes is obviously one, but particularly this meeting today, the Parents' Day or Yom Walidain, is an exciting opportunity as a result of that. This is an area, frankly, which we have been behind on in our ability to connect with our parents. We do different avenues, but with this, we have another opportunity to engage directly with you and hear from you as well. So I know we have some time left over to sort of also take a few questions and answers. So I would keep my comments brief. And in terms of, in the spirit of working with you all, with the parents, what we would want to hear from you, what your suggestions are, what your thoughts are, especially this being our first national meeting, so that we can start to learn from you and move forward. But to sort of round out my comments, I'll present a couple of extracts from Hazrat Muslim Maud first, and then Khalifatul Masih, bin Abdul Aziz, Masroor Ahmad as well, as a guidance. And these extracts are guidance for both of us, for the parents as well as the Majlis, or those who are tasked with the responsibility of conducting activities and planning for the Majlis. So let's go through them. Can you go to the next slide, please? And we'll read that first quote from Hazrat Muslim Maud. And Hazur has, in his own words, Hazur has mentioned, obviously this is a translation and may not be as good a justice to it, but in his own words, Hazur has mentioned that I have created Ansarullah, Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya and Atfal al-Ahmadiyya, so the Jamaat develops the ability to copy each other in doing good deeds. Children will copy children, young men will copy young men, and older people will copy older people. When children, young men, and older people will all see that others in our age group have an inclination towards religion, that they are busy in learning religious knowledge and spreading it through the world, that they are busy in competing with each other in doing good deeds, then they will develop enthusiasm in their hearts to take part in good deeds and try to compete with them. I think the slide shifted. Okay. This change can only come about when the system is established in the Jamaat, and no child, young man, or older man is not part of the system. So there's a lot of wisdom in this quote that Hazur has mentioned, in this speech that Hazur has mentioned. Obviously, we know Hazrat Muslim Maud as the architect almost of the Nizam-e-Jamaat. He's laid down several sort of institutions, created a lot of institutions through which the Jamaat is excelling. And amongst those are these institutions of these auxiliaries, Ansarullah, Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya, Al-Ajna Ma'allah, Atfal al-Ahmadiyya, and Nasatul Ahmadiyya as well. And Hazur sort of points out that map, that in order for our Jamaat to succeed, every member has to be engaged, whether they are very young or whether they are older or growing as part of their development. That is why Hazur established these auxiliaries. So every member is engaged. If it was just one umbrella of the Jamaat, then it's easy to sort of lose track, or for the youngsters to not feel as engaged with the Jamaat. So that's why Hazur has created this teaching or learning opportunity for every member from the very young age to grow, to learn until they develop and mature, to take on the responsibility of fulfilling the mission of the Prophet ﷺ and lead the Jamaat forward. So it is very important for all of us to engage our youngsters. Obviously, Tarbiyyat is the primary responsibility of it lies on the parents. But Atfal al-Ahmadiyya is an auxiliary that has been created, this nizam that has been created to support you in this effort. So think of it as a support tool, a support mechanism outside of the house. And especially when we talk about Tarbiyyat of boys or young men, you can only sort of focus so much in the house. They will go out, they will go and engage, they'll have a friend network. So it is ideal, it is best if that network and that community is established with like-minded folks, with Atfal and with Khuddam, so that they can continue to grow in that environment, which Muslim Maud has sort of foreseen for us. And again, as if even in our sort of professional lives, we put our children through different programs so that they can develop and mature. We look at even American societies, successful ones. You look at parents; they put a lot of energy in the tarbiyyat of their children. Granted that their focus may be slightly different, but they are putting them through different activities, after school programs, whether it's sports, whether it's debate clubs, and all those activities. So it is important for us to continue to focus from our priorities perspective and make sure that our children are not just focused on school and studies, but also are progressing in this area of Tarbiyyat. Atfal Ahmadiyya, by the grace of Allah, presents that opportunity or that sort of environment where they can grow and excel. Can you go to the next extract from Al-Khalifatul Masih as well? And this one I picked out because it speaks, it's obviously from 2010, and it speaks to some of the challenges that the Western world is sort of experiencing and Tarbiyyat in these environments. And not just Western world today, I mean, it's a global village with how connected we are in terms of social media and Atfal being online. So it speaks to some of those challenges. And Azur has said that similarly, Ansarullah, Lajna, and Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya should make programs for their own auxiliaries to safeguard against these evils. Again, talking about the social evils that exist in our society that we are all well familiar with. And he says that affiliate young boys and girls to the Nizam-e-Jamaat and the auxiliaries so that they always give precedence to their faith. In this regard, mothers and fathers should fully cooperate with the Nizam-e-Jamaat or the auxiliaries. If the mother and father show weakness, then it will be tantamount to killing their children. In particular, as the head of the household, men have the greatest duty and obligation to save their children from falling in the fire. So again, Hazur has sort of laid down this guidance in a more modern context of our world that we live in today. That it is absolutely essential to engage our Atfal, our youngsters from a very young age within Nizam-e-Jamaat. We can't wait for much longer. We can't wait for them to mature or grow up. I think some of you are very familiar with Amir Saab's guidance as well on different Tarbiyyat matters when he lays down the stress that we must engage our children at a very young age because they are maturing rapidly in this new environment, this always connected world that we live in. So we should really focus on making sure that they engage at that young age. And unfortunately, we are all well aware of multiple examples that we can see around us in our Jamaats or in our extended families where priorities may not have been right at the right time at a young age. And then when these youngsters grow up, it becomes very painful and challenging to really engage them again back. With the Nizam-e-Jamaat, with Khilafat, that is the sort of, it's the other definition of Nizam-e-Jamaat, which is tied to Khilafat itself. So we really have to start at a very early age. And that is where I think this joint responsibility has been laid in both the extract that I sort of presented. It's the responsibility, obviously, primarily of the parents as far as the Tarbiyyat of the children is concerned, but also with the auxiliaries, that we have to be that tool. We have to be that mechanism to sort of support you in sort of building that bridge and raising our children in the way that's expected by our Khulafa.
Jazakallah. To all the participants, Jazakallah to our Rabbi Sahib Atfal and all the team for organizing this program. Jazakallah to all the attendees for joining us. It's almost an hour and a half now on a weekday. May Allah bless you all, and may our Atfal and their parents, may we be able to follow the instructions of Al-Khalifatul Masih as we saw earlier. I would like to request Naib Sadr Sahib Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya, please lead us in silent prayers so we conclude the program.
Jazakallah all for joining. Please join me in dua. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ameen. Ameen. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.